What a dark, dark show. Just a grim show we have to navigate through today. Even the stories that aren't about what we just talked about relate to some terrible people. On screen, you're seeing Elon Musk's father, Errol, or as we call him here, Errol. And Errol, who we recently talked about this New York Times reporting in relation to, titled Elon Musk's father accused of child sexual abuse of his own children or stepchildren. He did an interview with CNN and says that, you know how population as the country has gotten more diverse, at some point in time you could have white people not in the majority, not like over 50% of the country being white. There would still be a huge portion, 40-something%, but at some date, 2 decades from now or something, you're going to have 40-something% white instead of 50-something or 60-something. And there's a lot of fear-mongering in the MAGA world about that and what that means, and also running with conspiracies about this being purposeful to eliminate white people. And look at me. Look at me. I'm white. But even I, the most famous white person, some people say. Some people have said it. Hasn't been me. That's what I get called around my house when I'm alone. Can say they're being ludicrous. Do I want to be eliminated? No, not personally. But do I think that natural population shifts and normal demographic changes are going to cause the downfall of a... Stop. Just stop. But he says, you're going to turn us, if you let us not be a majority white country, back into a jungle. This is Elon Musk's dad. But don't look into the hand gesture too much, because that was just an accident. I'm serious. But this is what his dad's saying. Same dad, I'll remind you, who, as he denies South African apartheid, or as Trump would put it, South American apartheid, he denies it when he is the guy who said his black servants were friends with Elon, which proves Elon's not racist. So just click the subscribe button. Here we go.
The big concern at the moment, and why I think South Africa is a big talking point in the US right now, is America in the next 20 years will become, for the first time in its history, a minority white country.
Well, that will be a very, very bad thing to happen. You want to see the US go down? Why? Oh, you don't like cars and electric cars, and you don't like technology, or what is it? You want to go back to the jungle, or?
If the US becomes a minority...
Hey, CNN reporter. Why were you not reacting stronger to that? Do you not want technology? Do you want to go back to the jungle? Because, of course, we can't have electric cars if there is statistically less white people. Even though the advancement of electric cars have happened in a very diverse country, with very diverse people working on those electric cars. What a psycho.
White country.
Yes.
So there's Latinas, there's blacks, there's people from all different races make up the majority, and then, you know, it could be 48% white people. Do you really think the US is doomed if it goes under?
Yes, it goes under then.
Seriously?
Yes, of course. You see, if you take South Africa, we have a small white population that projects European culture, or what we learned from Europe.
And oppressed millions of black people.
No.
For decades.
How do you oppress? We gave them work, we fed them. They grew from a tiny little group into a massive group. That's not oppression, that's feeding them. Do you understand? You only grow big if you get fed. You only start at 800 and become 50 million if you get fed. We fed them, for crying out loud. You know, enough with this nonsense.
But so you understand, because the black population was so oppressed under apartheid.
Well, we never saw this oppression you're talking about.
You never saw it.
No, I never saw it.
Yeah, but because you're white.
No, I was never oppressed. I was never oppressed during apartheid. I was never oppressed. I fed my servants. I fed them. That's his dad. His dad. So, remember, I know that most of you don't need this. What's so sinister about these folks is America, if they had gotten their way, never would have become the empire, the powerhouse, the cultural force, the multicultural democracy, shining city on a, that it became if these folks had their way. We have, just remember that as all sorts of different groups have immigrated here and convergences of identities have happened, etc., and people have been humping each other too between races, right? That's important to note. We love interracial humping here at the show. That's a stance that we have. Cole's uncomfortable. I'm trying to figure out how to make this very dark story fun. I'm sorry, it's hard. We've also seen the American, hold your take for a second, American prosperity, average American worker productivity skyrocket. Then, because of failures in public policy, we've allowed income inequality to get out of control. We've allowed the systems to be rigged against many of those average workers of all different identity groups. But the ability for us to be productive and innovative has advanced even as we've become more diverse. So clearly that little theory there that will go back in time is wildly, I stay away from this term because people thought it got overused, but I think here it applies. Can we say racist? Is it crazy to call someone racist? Oh, in this case, Tucker. Can I use the R word there, Tucker? I think this applies. And the data of our productivity, innovation, economic output contradicts completely what he's saying. So just to take any emotion out of it, that's the case. And then because of failures in public policy and people like his son lobbying against better policies, we haven't distributed that wealth properly enough, and communities have been fractured a lot because of failures in policy. But the might of America has only been strengthened. Does that mean that a common American culture that in many ways is defined by our multiculturalism, but that we all align on certain principles, that that's irrelevant? No, absolutely not. It's just not a matter of race. It's a matter of what we all, as Americans, dedicate ourselves to, which principles we want to align on, and that being our common culture and our common patriotism. But to be so obviously racist and also just simple-minded and pitiful that you think the color of your skin is what defines American greatness is honestly just sad. And you raised, since she was 4, your stepdaughter, and then you impregnated her when she was an adult. I don't want to be a part of that culture. Mr. Errol. Look at this. You remember this? A bunch of allegations of sexual abuse against children. His children. And then the undeniable one that he doesn't even deny is he had a child, at least one, with the woman who was once the girl that he became the stepfather of when she was 4. So I don't want, whatever that is. And also, I hate to pull like the, can you look up if, I can do it. You're not even American, Errol. That's right. Can I say it here? Is it racist if I say it here? So Errol, go back to where you came from. That's right. I said it. Don't come here and spew your racist nonsense. Because my American culture, that is multicultural, that has a convergence of beautiful identities, that doesn't ignore the importance of a shared dedication to principles that defines our culture, but celebrates our connection to each other despite identity differences in our backgrounds. And our American culture doesn't like people who sexually abuse their stepchildren. So I don't want you here. I never say that phrase, but I don't want you here. I want you out. So don't come into our country, our American country, and tell us what we have to do. Don't come into our country and spew white supremacy, which is what that is. And also, you're a freak. You remember this? That was so ominous.
In 3 weeks in America, the people are, I would like to say 80%, but actually 100% behind Trump. So...
why do you think your son brought up the Epstein files at this particular moment? What was his thinking there, do you think?
Well, I have no idea. I don't know what he was thinking. And, I think, people lash out when they under stress. I can only imagine that's just a silly mistake. Besides, nobody, this is also nonsense because, let the innocent person cast the first stone, I'd say, Nobody's innocent, of anything, so I don't know what the idea would be.
What? You're talking about an accusation relating to the cover-up of a child trafficking scheme. And Errol says no one's innocent of anything, which is the least coherent statement ever. Actually, most of us are innocent of most things. Errol. The whole last time we covered him, I called him E-roll. So I might go back to that. I think that's a better name. E-roll. And it was so weird. I remember, I wish I'd grabbed the clip of me going, what? What do you mean none of us are innocent of anything? Yeah, we're all, other than people who aren't very specifically innocent of the Epstein-related crimes. So that was a flashback. He literally is talking about the Epstein files and goes, why would you get onto people for that? No one's innocent of anything. Biggest self-own ever. And we don't like pedophiles in our country, Ebro. So get out. Don't ever come here again. Sincerely, proud, patriotic, multiracial Americans.